as I explained to you, I spent the time from when he wrote his very first little book on I have it in my bookshelf right in the other room there.
Huh.
It was about 150 pages long, and it was, I could go get the name of it, something like The Theory of Everything. This is when he was in Lancaster.
Yeah.
The book was 150 pages, and he didn't know really how to do calorimetry accurately.
Didn't, yeah. Yeah.
I have read every issue of his book since then. The longest volume, I think, was 1,500 pages.
Yeah.
And I have studied every page in great detail for like however many years it's been. It's 2018 now, and I started in 92.
Wow.
So add 'em up.
Huh.
26 years. I reviewed at least 20% of his articles for the journals.
Okay.
Okay. And so I am thoroughly familiar with every aspect of his theory. I chose to give the paper on the fractional quantum states because in many ways that's the most controversial aspect of the whole problem. And that's where the problems start, at that very point. I can tell you that for sure.
Oh, okay. So into your...
I won't go any further than that. It was chosen for a very good reason.
Ah, I see. So basically you're saying that if people could get their head around this, then they'd open themselves up to other things.
Yes.
Ah, I see. So it's a very strategic decision to do that way.
Well, it isn't just a matter of getting their heads around it. It involves essentially a revolution in the scientific fields.
Right.
Pretty much all of them.
That's what I think. So I'm glad you're saying that because that's exactly what I've been feeling reading this. I'm trying to understand. I'm going, this is
Let me tell you honestly, I've spent a good fraction of my life working on it now.
Yeah.
And if it's accepted and understood and practiced within the next 30 years, it'll be a minor miracle.
You think it's that much of a shift, eh?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
That I can tell you for certain.
Huh. So that's...
Now you may understand why I'm reluctant to sound off anymore.
I mean, no. I mean,
Brett can explain that to you, all right?
Yeah.
He went to Reed University, and his professor was one of the leading exponents and proponents of modern quantum electrodynamic theory, etc.
Yeah.
He had a good fundamental sound training in the quantum mechanics that is currently accepted as in quantum electrodynamics, that's currently serves as the basis of the so-called standard model and the so-called accepted 15 decimal place accuracy of the most beautiful theory that was ever developed.
Right.
And is right now sufficiently guarded that anybody who questions it even is subject to ridicule.
I see. So you're talking about
that is an absolute fact. No, I'm not talking just about LENR. I'm talking about anybody that questions the special theory of relativity or the general theory of relativity, or anybody that questions the fundamental quantum electrodynamics and quantum chromodynamics and all the other paraphernalia that goes with modern so-called standard theory of nuclear physics and of solid-state physics. It's just papers will be rejected. They will not even be considered for publication in any of the leading journals like Physical Review, etc. And I can tell you this: the electron is not a point particle. There is no such thing as a real point particle.
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at the geometry, the theoretical definition of a point is that part of space which has nothing in it.
Yeah.
So you tell me, how can you have mass and charge inside of a point in space which has nothing in it?
No, that makes no sense.
You can't.
That's an infinity.
It's impossible.
Okay, infinite charge
And
density.
furthermore, you can't use the superposition theorem,
Yeah.
because when you get up in these high energy fields, nothing is linear.
Mhm.
Superposition theorem is only true if everything is linear.
Yeah.
I mean,
But well,
you get me going here, and I'm telling you all these things, but I'm not going to put any of that into print.
well, I'm not a writer,
At
and
this
well,
stage,
I'll
because
send you the note. But first of all, let's just clear it up. I'm not trying to write. Like if Brett's the writer, I'm more actually trying to figure out. My goal is to figure out. Listen, if this is information that could lead to a positive outcome for society, and I can make some money from it by teaching it, and I think there's a captive audience for it eventually, then I'm trying to get ready for that. That's as simple as it gets. You know what I mean? I'm
well,
simplifying it
I
down.
understand that, and I
Yeah,
sympathize with you. And what I'm explaining to you is
yeah.
that there's another huge revolution that's coming down the pike
Mhm.
at some stage.
Mhm.
And I don't know whether it's ever going to make it into the print
Yeah.
in an important way for people who are really going to work on it for maybe another 50 years. I have no idea, but I'm not going to stick my neck out at this stage. I'm going to continue to work on the fundamentals of this thing and make sure that the fundamentals are solidly in place, that these revisions need to be made. And I have told you,
Yeah.
if you read the Functional Analysis and Feynman Operator Calculus book and understand it, and then look at the other publications that Zachary and Gil have made, including one or two that we were included as co-authors on, you'll begin to appreciate the fact that the revolution in science that's involved is extremely broad and fundamental.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be teaching that to anybody in a short time, because most of it hasn't even appeared in the literature yet,
Mhm.
in a way that people grasp, the extent to which it's fundamental.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see.
But
Mhm.
I applaud you in the fact that you're probably correct, but the depth of this revolution and the extent of the revolution is going to be equivalent to that which occurred in the 30s, in the 20s,
Yeah.
when Einstein did his work, and when Rayleigh did his work, when all these fundamental people laid the foundations of today's scientific theories.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you say yes, exactly, but as a practicing scientist in the field, if I was to make the same comment, they say, well, that Kurtz, he's an old guy. He's off his rocker, and he's had his day. He's just
Yeah.
a medium,